1 minute, your world is normal. The next, it's gone. A flood, a fire, a crime scene. Your home shattered. Your business shut down. Your life on pause. But in the darkest hour, when chaos knocks at your door, that's when Serve Pro of Northwest Lake County shows up. Not just a company, not just a cleanup crew, but neighbors, parents, coaches, locals who care. Drake and his team aren't just restoring properties. They're restoring peace, restoring dignity, restoring lives. So when your worst day arrives, call the oh no guy who becomes your thank God guy. Serve Pro of Northwest Lake County. Locally owned, nationally known, unshakably trusted. From devastation to restoration. Serve Pro, Northwest Lake County. Looking for a car dealer that actually feels like your hometown? Welcome to City Chevrolet of Grayslake, where the vibe is friendly, the pressure is off, and you'll always be treated like family. Meet Anthony Scala. He's just not the owner. He's a guy that grew up in the car business, worked his way from porter to owner. Anthony believes in people first. That's why City Chevy sponsors your kids' teams, your town events. And matter of fact, this show, they give back every chance they get. Anthony thinks that the experience of buying a car should be fun. No pressure, just honest people who care. Whether you need a new Chevy, a quality used car, or just service you can trust, City Chevy is here for you. Come visit City Chevrolet of Grayslake right off of 120. And thank you for sponsoring our town, our stories, our voice. Let's get after it, Grayslake.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of Discovering Grayslake. We're recording here on Center Street, right across from Emil's at Bellevue Studios. My good friend Kristen lets me record here, so Kristen, I really appreciate you. So if you guys are looking for a photographer for any kind of thing, from a wedding to senior portraits, and she does headshots, everything you could possibly think of, Kristen is awesome and lifelong friend of mine. So today I'm with Brian Calhoun. Brian, how are you, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay. This is like an evening thing. I'm so used to doing things in the afternoon.
It's a beautiful night out, too.
It is. And we're not drinking.
Yeah.
So there's downfalls to everything.
Beer Bazaar's across the street.
It really is. Okay, so the first most glaring thing that I'm looking at is we're here to talk about barbecue today.
Yeah.
Wheez.
Yes, sir.
So name of the company officially is?
Weez's Groovin Barbecue.
Weez's Groovin Barbecue.
Yeah.
So let's just start with the obvious. How in the hell did you come up with that name?
So when I was in high school, my brother used to hang out with a bunch of musicians, and they were all, let's say stoners, because my brother didn't do, but they just, and I lived in Missouri for a few years with my mom. When I came back here, my brother was hanging out with these guys, and they nicknamed my brother Roach. And there was Troll and Rat and Doc, and there was two brothers named Tangerine and Orange. So when I came along, they just said I acted like a little weasel. That's how I said.
So you're the Wheez.
Shorted it to Wheez, and then, when I was looking at naming, kind of my company, my buddy's like, everybody knows you as Wheez. Like if you try to, one of my best friends, moved to California, and he had a music studio at his house, and I had access to it. I was over there all the time. I cut his mom's grass. She got a package in the mail for Brian Calhoun, and she called me and said, hey, I have a package. I'm like, oh, yeah, John said I could send it there. And she's like, okay, well, who is this? I said, Mom, it's Wheez. And she's like, oh, I didn't know your name. And I'd been,
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, so that's kind of why that's where Wheez came, and it's...
Well, how about the grooving part?
From just music and drums.
Just music.
Being a drummer and stuff like that.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay, so you do a lot of different stuff. So we're gonna step back because today we're here to talk about great Grayslake business that does business pretty much all over the place, which is awesome to see.
The Grayslake Rehabilitation Center is a community-based private practice physical therapy provider. Do you know they have 13 clinical providers with various levels of specialties, including orthopedics, sports, neurology, vestibular, geriatrics, pelvic floor, and aquatic? What? Did I just say they have a pool? Well, they do, and it's the largest indoor warm water pool in Lake County, featuring 2 underwater treadmills and swim currents. And recently added clinical treatment specialties, in layman's terms, shockwave. They have both radial and focus units that are the newest tool in regenerative medicine, available to everyone. They pride themselves on the most current and up-to-date specialized care to keep you moving. If you're looking for physical therapy, make sure to see our friends at Grayslake Rehabilitation.
Okay, so the barbecue, this hasn't been a thing of yours forever, right? So what is your official, walk us through how you even get into this.
So back when COVID had just started, I've been playing in a band for, I don't know, maybe 7-8 years. We did started in a rock band with some local guys, and then, moved into some doing blues. And then we moved into a 2-man kind of local H thing. And
Nice.
We had some shows booked. COVID hit, and obviously all the shows got canceled. We did like a last show kind of in my basement, my studio. We had like 20 people over, and then I think literally the next day they shut everything down. So I kind of started cooking when me and my wife moved into the house, because like we'd been going out to dinner, and I'm like, man, like, not that I could cook better than people, but I'm like, it's a lot of money. I looked at it from the money aspect of it,
Sure.
So when we were moving in the house, my wife was going to pay, movers to move her and her daughter, literally like a mile to her house. I said, well, wait, me and my guys will move it. I said, you can take the $2,500 or whatever,
Right.
spend $500 and buy me a Weber grill. It'll benefit all of us. So she ordered me a Weber Kettle Deluxe. It got delivered, and that was probably 2018, maybe 19. And I started kind of messing around a little bit, cooking steaks, cooking a pork butt on it. And then kind of when COVID hit, I had just really kind of started getting into barbecue. And then once that was it, I needed a hobby, and, started watching cooking videos. I'd stay up all Saturday night watching videos. Next day I'd go to the store, walk in, buy all the stuff I needed, and just cook. And it literally that's how it started. And then got into doing the barbecue competitions and
Wow.
did the catering, and that's.
So what is your normal job?
So
I feel like people ask you that, your normal job. People ask me all the
So
time.
I started driving a truck back in 2001 for Coca-Cola out of Park City. So I played baseball and scholarship at College of Lake County. So when I wasn't playing, I played about a year and a half there. I worked at Coca-Cola, and then when I turned 21, me and my dad applied for Schneider National to team drive cross country. And like a week before he was supposed to go, he said he wasn't going. I'm like, well, I'm going, because I've always loved trucks. It was one of those things where I always just. So when I turned 21, I went to Green Bay, spent a few weeks up there training, hit the road, and I spent like 15 years cross country. Then I became a local driver. I train a lot of new drivers. I go in and out of the rail yards in Chicago.
Wow.
Just hit 25 consecutive safe years, and I'm almost at my 2 million miles for safe driving.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
that's a big deal.
Yeah. So I still do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They try to get me to come in on Thursdays. If I don't have catering or something like that, I'll pick up some extra hours. But for the most part, I try to just do my 3 days. And
Nice. And business is good enough that you can do that.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I just want to like a little backstory.
Yeah.
All right. So COVID stuff, you start doing where you're actually going to do caterings and things like that.
Yeah.
What was the moment where it turned from hobby to knowing that you want to do this for business?
I think it's one of those, you meet a lot of guys on the, in competition that start doing this, or guys, my friends and family say my food's good. A lot of it's not, right? It's just friends and family. And that's kind of how my food was. Like, I just I have an obsessive personality. So when I get into something, it's like, we're all in. There's no, I'm not going to concerts anymore. I'm not doing this. This is what we're doing, So I just started, watching videos and like making friends. I ask a million questions. I talk to everybody, I'm the guy that if I fly to Houston and I meet you, you're like, hey man, let me know next time you're in town. I'll call you 2 months later and be like, dude, I'm in town. What are we doing?
Nice.
And, so, my, Nader at Beer Bazaar, I got buddies that worked at, Phase 3, some of the breweries. And man, you should start doing pop-ups. Like, your food's really good.
Okay.
And I was like, well, dude, I don't have a business. I don't have any of that,
Right.
And I would have people requesting catering, so just like everybody does, just kind of do some stuff, in the back, you just kind of, all right, man, I'll, pork butt, you want this, you want that. And then next thing you know, I'd announce I'm doing, I'm cooking food, I'm testing a bunch of food tonight, and I'd have 20 people show up in my house.
Ah, there you go.
So then I think, I started getting kind of tired of not driving, but just back, it's a lot with trucking. Everything's changing in the world, right? So, trucking's changing. It's, we can get rid of 20 people because we have a computer can do this. We can have, and I just got really, I think, annoyed that like it seemed like every week you're like, all right, what's changing this week? What's changing this week? Like, can I rely on this as a paycheck? And then I'm like, like maybe I could sell barbecue. So I went and got my food handler's license and got an LLC. I got my insurance, found a kitchen, and then, I would think I was kind of scared. I think for like 5 months I had my business. I didn't do anything. Like I was like, I don't even know where to start. Like I don't,
right.
And then I got asked to do a last minute event at Phase 3. I forgot what they had, some kind of vendor event. I showed up and did tacos, and I think we fed like 250 people.
Holy cow.
And I had a lot of people telling me like, dude, a white guy cooking tacos, like these are awesome, but it's obviously, it's,
right.
It's, we live, I love Mexican food, man. So to me, like when anything I cook, I try to get, kind of the history of it and kind of make it your own, but also respect like where it came from or so if I'm cooking something, like if I can watch a video and it's from Asia or it's from, South America, like I want to see how they're cooking it. I'm like, all right, well,
sure.
Make it, here where obviously we don't have a lot of the spices and things they use there, but I was always, and then that was kind of it, dude. It was, I cooked there and then I got booked to do Tighthead and I made all this food and I showed up and it was a blizzard. 4 people showed up. I had all this food, but they loved it because I still showed up.
Of course.
Where most people would cancel. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be the guy that does that. So then I donated all the food to the local police department, and then that's kind of where, that was 2 years ago. I had a really good end of the year. I think what really helped me too is I went and did the Hall of Fame game for the Bears. They did a big Mongo McMichael benefit out there. We fed like 500 or 600 people.
Oh, how the hell do you get that gig?
I had a buddy that used to do tailgates for a company for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And they called him and said, hey, do you know a Chicago guy? He's like, I got a guy. And then I did that, and then I got, the tailgates doing Badgers games, and I just went down and did a Bears and Packers tailgate, big VIP event. And
that's awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, everything's just kind of, and I think with my food, too, like being a competition guy, I'm everything's, it's all about one bite, right? And that, in barbecue competition, you get one bite. So for me, I take like 50% of that. And then, put that into the catering, and that just kind of, to me, elevates it, And I like feeding a lot of people, but I prefer 120, 150 people and just wow them with what I cook. There's enough people that go out and do the, 100,000 people festival, and, food's fine. It's a
different kind of business.
Yeah.
Right?
That's, I don't want to say that like I don't care about the money, but like I care so much about the quality of like what I'm doing.
It's your craft too, right?
Yeah.
Take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get that kind of quality when you're serving that many people. That would be really hard.
We're taking a quick break just to say hello because everybody knows Nano, and Nano knows real estate. And actually, I believe that's the name of her Instagram page. So if you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, or know somebody in the market for a home, contact Nano from Baird & Warner. She's a Grayslake girl helping out Grayslake people. Looking for a place where there's always something happening? Welcome to the Grayslake Village Center. Whether you're planning a family outing, a date night, or a fun night out with friends, the Village Center has something for everyone, year-round. Enjoy a fantastic mix of restaurants, unique retail shops, and exciting events that bring the community together. And just steps away, you'll find Central and Gelatin Parks, home of the library, aquatic center, skate park, senior center, and numerous recreational opportunities. Whew, that's a mouthful. So if you're looking for something to do, come explore, dine, shop, and play right here in the heart of Grayslake. Find out more at grayslakevillageCenter.com. And go check them out on social media and give them a like, give them a follow.
I laugh because, I know barbecue people, and it's just fun to see, but it seems like it's not an addiction, but it's an addiction.
Yeah.
So tell me about, like, first competition that you go to. Do you get invited to that? Do you submit stuff to it?
Yeah, so I found a guy on Facebook, and he was talking. I mentioned something on some local Chicago site about any competitions, and a guy reached out and said, hey, man, I'm cooking a competition, and it was last time they had one in Kenosha. So I showed up, just like now the people I deal with, like I showed up thinking it was a carnival and there's all this I didn't realize it was a private, like, competition, and there's no food for sale. And the guy that invited me, like, I showed up, introduced myself, and dude kind of like ghosted me. So, and I'm using that as a pun. So I'm walking and I see all these, $100,000 rigs and all this. Well, I come up to a trailer and it says Smoking Ghost on it. And now was one of my best friends, but he walks out and older guy's like, "You look like you're lost." And I said, "Yeah, I'm just walking around, man." I said, "I got invited here by one of the other teams." I said, and he just kind of, he's like, "All right." I said, "Can I stay inside of your trailer, man, and, check it out?" He's like, "Come on in."
Nice.
So I came in and we talked for 20, 30 minutes, and he had a rub at the time and he gave me a bottle of rub, and I left. And then that was in October, so that would have been, maybe October of 2019, 2020, June of 2020, I went to Indianapolis to help a guy, and Smoking Ghost was there.
Aha.
And I said, "Hey, you probably don't remember me." And he's like, "How do you forget a guy your size?" And I was like, and then, I went down there and hung out, slept in my car so that, I could save money and didn't have to get a hotel. And that was it, man. We cooked the next day, met a bunch of guys, came home. I think that following November, I drove the barbecue bus for my buddy. He's got a bus converted into a big, you drive it around. It's like a 70s hippies band now. And
cool.
I have a CDL. So he's like, "Will you drive down and cook the World Invitational with us?" So I went down, and I mean, I never cooked any of their food because they're phenomenal. I mean, they're world champion cooks, but I got to taste great food. I got to be around and meet a bunch of great cooks.
Right.
And I walked around and, "Can I try your food? Can I try this? Can I try this?" Because a lot of guys want you to try it to see what it, So I got a great idea of what great, competition food, right? Cause,
sure.
And the next year I just started competing on my own and helping them. And we cooked. I went to that Jack Daniel's World Championship with them. We went to the American Royal in Kansas City. I mean, in one year I went to like 4 huge events.
That's amazing.
So, and then the next year after that, I think I spent 22,000 miles in my 4Runner, sleeping in either a tent or the back of my car. And I went all the way to Chesapeake Bay, cooking in D.C. I went to Florida. I went to Lakeland, Florida, and back in like 3.5 days and cooked. And it's
how fun.
Yeah, dude. So
okay, so the guys that are out there, and it sounds like, because I like your personality, that, I think this is anybody that's listening that wants to be good at anything, you always talk to people that are where you're chasing to go, right?
Yeah.
And being friendly. And normally people that enjoy what they do will share information with you and talk. Yep. And it's like a community, it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was, I always tell people that I spent, a lot of my life trying to fit into things, like the craft beer came out. And I never really drank until like 2014, 15. I had like a Zombie Dust, and I'm like, "Oh, this is way better than Miller Lite."
Right.
But if I ever drank or ever did any of this, it was, I just always try to I guess fit in. Like I just never felt like, I was, especially spending so much time on the road by myself, you just kind of, it changes your personality, and so like I always try to fit in when I was home on the weekends, but like, we're not hanging out. I didn't go to college. I didn't do a lot of the things and develop the friendships, because when I was 21, I was, sleeping in the back of a truck for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, traveling the country, which is great, right? I got to see and do a lot of cool stuff. Right. But when I went to that barbecue event, and
those are your people.
That was like, I sat down, and an hour into it, I'm like, "Yep, this is it.
I love it.
This is my, it's my family. This is kind of, and now it's
no looking back now.
And it's all, like I said, anywhere I go, man. I asked a buddy of mine, I said, I think it was a couple of years ago. I said, "What do people think about me in barbecue?" And he said, "Well, 3 things. You got the best beer in barbecue. You're always in the hunt, and everybody in barbecue." And I
That's
said,
awesome.
"Well, it's not a bad thing, man. So it's
no, and you're friendly, and you're making that like, if you're not doing something you love and we're surrounded by good people, what the hell are you doing, right?"
Yep.
That's fun. So I got to meet you the first time, and I know that you were super busy. I was running around too. You do a lot of the stuff for chamber events at the Grayslake Chamber.
Yep.
And Mary Beth loves you, by the way. Yeah. So Mary Beth and I were talking, but it's fun to watch like all these guys come in, because a lot of times we're used to like eating the same kind of dinners at different places and everything. So it's really refreshing when we have really good food there. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. It's after last year, I said this year when she reached out to me again, I was like, "Oh, okay." I mean, because even now, like sometimes, if I get booked for these events, it's like I'm confident, like I know my food's good, but I'm still like in awe sometimes of like the things I get to do with it. Sometimes people in the, I'm in the room with like Royal Oak Charcoal is one of my sponsors. I got picked up like 3 years ago, and they have an invitational, in Roswell, Georgia. So if you get invited, they choose like 30, 35 other teams. You make your way down there. They put you in a hotel, dude. It is red carpet. And,
awesome.
and the Thursday night you're down there, they call it bourbon night. You're in a room, and I was in a room with, world champion guys from Texas, all these guys that I look, I look up to, and I'm like, dude, like, this is this guy here, here's this guy's from, and I was just standing there, and my buddy Josh DeWitt from Kansas City, JEQ Barbecue, one of my best friends, walks up, he's like, so what do you think? And I'm like, if there was ever a moment in my life where I'm like, I'm somewhere I shouldn't belong, it's in this room. And he's like, no, dude, you belong.
Like you're having imposter syndrome. Right?
Yeah, but it was just like, talking to all these, these guys that, and it's still kind of, and for me, the difference in competition is there's guys that cook what they call a pro side and a backyard side. So backyard does chicken and ribs, and we'll do pork on occasion. It's cheaper to cook. I can cook out of my car, and then there's brisket, pork, chicken, and ribs. Guys will do those for. Okay. A lot of times I get crap because like I do really good, and they're like, well, you need to, come up and cook 4 meats, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to cook a $300 brisket every weekend. I can't afford that. Like, right. I don't like, But then if I do 4 meat events, I usually do really well, at them. So sometimes when I'm places, like I feel out of place because like, I didn't win brisket in San Antonio, or I didn't do this, but like then I compete against them, and and I usually have a buddy help me, and we usually do pretty good. Yeah. But so sometimes when I'm in a room with those guys, I just feel like, like I'm just the backyard guy, dude. Like I'm just, I'm kind of a nobody over here,
Right.
So.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
Ribs, man.
Ribs.
Yeah.
That's your thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I never liked ribs until about 2017 or 18. My buddy Jeff Foy made some ribs, and I had them. Because most of the time you go to people's houses and they just throw them on a grill for an hour. You go to restaurants and they're just,
yep.
And I took a bite of his ribs. I'm like, wow, dude. I'm like, it's really good. He cooked them on a propane Weber grill. He's like, yeah, that's how I did them. And then that kind of got me into, that. And then I went to a buddy's house, and he had made a brisket and a pork butt on a Weber. Huh. I'm like, how'd you do that, man? And then that was kind of, but I love ribs, man. I mean, it's,
That's the number one.
Yeah.
So and you're lucky I'm not feeling well tonight, because in the middle of our table here is some goodies here. What's inside? What'd you bring me tonight?
So I think there's 3 competition ribs in there. There's some money muscles, what we call is from pork. If you look at a pork butt, there's a bone on one side, or they call it the horn, and then on one side you'll see a lot of beautiful muscle strangulations. That's called a money muscle. So we trim that out, and it's like a tenderloin. And we turn that in for competitions. So there's a couple of those. There's 2 pieces of Snake River Farms Gold Wagyu brisket in there, and then a couple of chicken thighs that I me and my son went to Atlanta, and we got a perfect, which is all 6 judges gave us all 9s, which is very very rare feat in competition. Yeah. So like there's 2 pieces of those chicken in there for you.
The Grayslake Chamber of Commerce isn't just networking, it's opportunity. Members get exposure through local events, online directories, and social media, plus access to exclusive resources that help businesses succeed. Make new connections, grow your brand, and be part of the events that bring our town together. Learn more and join today at grayslakechamber.com. The Grayslake Chamber of Commerce, the new wave of business.
Awesome. So tomorrow, when I'm feeling better, I'm going to do a video, and I'm going to turn the camera around on me. And as this releases, I think that'll be our promo. Is I'm just going to sit and gorge myself and give my I'll give you my my judging on all my professional judging. So I was looking through a lot of your social. Let's mention social channels right now. So if people are listening, where do they follow you?
So I have Weez's Groovin Barbecue, and you can find it on Instagram and Facebook. I mean, I don't do much on TikTok yet, but people keep telling me I need to do videos on there.
Dude, we'd have so much fun with that, too.
Yeah.
You just need somebody to shoot it for you so you can enjoy your craft.
Yeah.
And Weez's is WEEZ apostrophe S?
Yep, and then GROVIN apostrophe.
Weez's Groovin Barbecue.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok coming soon. Yeah. Maybe. So, I'm sorry, I got off track there.
That's all right.
But so, no, as I'm looking through there, because I'm obviously a father as well, but it's really cool and heartwarming to see like how tight you and your little guy are. So I just want to hear about your boy.
Yeah, so I spent a lot of my life like not wanting kids just because I'm like, man, what if I'm a, bad father? What if I'm this? What if it's, people are like, oh no. I'm like, dude, it's,
you actually thought it through.
Yeah. And
this is great.
And I'm just, and like, when, I said growing up, my grandparents raised me, I saw my dad and mom, but it wasn't. So I think a lot of that had an effect on it. So when I met my wife, Kate, she had a daughter. Loved her daughter. I had dated people before that had kids, and it was always like, I was always like, well, if they leave, like,
right.
It sucks, but like, it's not, so my wife wanted to have another kid. We were going into our late 30s, and I was like, yeah, sure. Like we're old, like we're not gonna,
right.
And it was New Year's Eve of 2018. No, Christmas Eve of 2018. We were getting ready to leave to take Bree, which is my daughter, down to Blue Man Group for Christmas present. Mm-hmm. And I'm downstairs playing like Madden or something like that, and she comes down and she's like, I think I'm pregnant. She's like, but the pregnancy, what had like they didn't have the 2 lines or whatever it was. It was kind of like in between, and I was like, whatever. I said it's probably bad. I didn't know that she went back to the store and got like, one of these like $900 ones that,
of course,
so she, I come upstairs and she shows it to me and it's positive.
Merry Christmas.
And the first thing I do is like, so I need to start working more, cause I'm thinking about money like now, like, and it was, so I tell her, like, I was, pretty awful her whole pregnancy, dude, because I was like, I'm gonna be a very selfish guy, and I'm just like, it's gonna be awful, dude. Like, I'm not gonna stop going to concerts. I'm not gonna stop any of the stuff I'm doing. I'm gonna do this, and it was, like it was bad enough that I was definitely the guy in the hospital that was like, I slept terrible last night. Like I was the one complaining about it. But
at least you can admit it.
Yeah,
like that.
So when Austin came out, like I cried, and then it took probably 3 or 4 months because her mom really helped us out. It was a lot. So I was never really around, him by myself, so it was, which was obviously a good thing, like I said, it was, and then we kind of just, my wife went back to work. So every other weekend she worked she works for Northwestern, been there for 20 some years. She was working at Lake Forest at the time, and just started spending time with them. And it was just like a lot of guys, right? The crying and all that. It's like, oh, dude, come on. So I put headphones on him, and I put him in his baby carrier, and I would sit and play drums, and he would not cry. And there's pictures of him and videos of me playing with him hanging from me, with his headphones on.
I love it.
Playing. And then I have a video where like I put the gate in front of me, and he's standing at the gate watching me with his headphones on. And I was like, so then he would always hit drums and stuff, and then we kind of just, and now it's, me and my wife kind of a couple years into it. She's like, hey, you can't be gone all the time doing it. I'm like, all right, I'll work, I'll do barbecue, and I'll spend time with you guys. Like, I'll stop going to show, I'll stop doing all, because to me, that's what mattered, right?
Of course.
And now, like, he's my,
it's pretty easy to see when I was looking through there. I'm like, this dude and this boy got a serious relationship.
We travel, like I said, we travel the whole country. He cooks in kids competitions.
What?
Yeah, he's got his own Weber. He goes and cooks. That was a thing. Yeah, they'll do hot dogs, or like they'll give him ground pork, so he'll do like sliders, and he does. I mean, I like to grill, but he takes the charcoal out. I dump it, but he makes the burgers. I make him do as much of it as he can. Obviously, I sliced the tomatoes, any of that kind of stuff. But yeah, he's done, I think, 4 or 5 competitions. We're going to Alabama over his spring break. He's got 2. He's cooking a Friday and a Saturday night kids competition, and then I cook during the day.
How cool is that?
Yeah. So we go. I think last year I took him in March. We went to Kansas City to go cook a competition. And it was the worst I've ever cooked, because I was just worried about, where's he at, and it was a bunch of things, right? My food wasn't good. I was worried about him. It was a million things that went into it. And I got upset at first, and I realized, I'm like, am I out here to spend time with him and show him this stuff? And, we went to my buddy's restaurant down there, dude, didn't have to pay for dinner. I mean, everywhere we're going, this kid thinks like, he's going to grow up and be like, I got to pay for dinner? What are you talking about?
Right. Way to go, Dad.
So we went there. We went to St. Louis. We went to the zoo. We did a bunch of cool stuff. So I'm like, you know what? We're out here. Like, we're going to do some competition. And there's kids out here that he knows kids from all over the country now.
So cool.
So like we started going, and then every week, like we were just, obviously if it was, especially in the summertime, he doesn't have school. We went, I think, to 10 or 12 competitions last year.
Oh, cool.
And then he was supposed to go with me to Royal Oak back in October, but he wasn't feeling. He'd been sick for a few weeks.
Yeah.
He didn't go. I got like 3 hours down the road. I stopped to get gas, and usually he always goes in the morning, gets Cheetos and chocolate milk.
Yeah.
And he wasn't with me.
Oh.
And I mean, this is a huge event I'm going to, and I wanted to turn around and just come back home because I'm like, it's not. I went from I can't take him to competitions because I can't focus to. I don't want to go to competitions if he's not coming with me.
Right. Shift in perspective, right?
Yeah, because it's just all the cool and fun stuff. I took him to the Space Museum last year, and down in Huntsville. He asked me, he's like, "Is there a barbecue competition down there?" So I only texted the Alabama guys, and I mean, a month later we're down at, the Space Museum on a Thursday, while everyone else is in school. So we got the run of the place. We got to meet a couple like engineer guys from the Apollo. So they took him kind of behind the scenes and let him see a bunch of and he had his whole outfit. He's got a whole space outfit he had on, so it's cool now. Like I can't imagine, and when I went to the Royal Oak competition, I got to meet, they call him Mr. Bucky. He's the pitmaster from Bucky's. He's the one that came out with brisket on the board, so someone introduced me to him and had all the Bucky stuff on.
Yeah.
Awesome guy. And I told him that, my son was supposed to come. I just stopped at Bucky's for him. He made a video.
Shop it.
With me for my son
What?
About Bucky's. And when they do their grand opening in Oak Creek, we're going to be able to go up and do a VIP. And his name's Randy, dude. He's super nice guy. We just stopped at Bucky's last weekend, and I sent him a picture.
How awesome is that?
And Austin thinks it's the coolest thing in the world that, we go to Bucky's and I can text Mr. Bucky a picture of him standing in front of Bucky's.
Right. Right. No, that's super cool.
That's competition barbecue, right? Like you get to meet all these cool people, and it's just, it's.
Yeah, and it's a totally different world, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, and you know what? I tip my hat to you too, because there's nothing that hearing stories like that, and this little man, you're a rock star. Yeah. And as you should be. And that's like, if you can't be a father that, your kid looks up to, you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a question for you. Have you listened to a podcast of mine yet?
I believe I listened to one you did with Notter.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have some other mutual friends too. The Rock Father, James.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Zahn.
Mr. Zahn. Okay. Yeah. So really quick. So how do you know Mr. Zahn?
The manager of electronics in Kmart, you mean? I met Rockfather Jim back when I worked at Kmart. I worked as a cashier in the front end, and I've always loved what I did. I loved working at Kmart when I was in high school. And one day after the morning meeting, Jim came to me and said, "Hey man, you want to move to electronics? Come work with me and work in seasonal garden shop." I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'll do that." And then that kind of went from there, and we worked for I think a couple of years together. And there was at one point I was living in my car when I was kind of in with college, and Jim gave me several nights, invited me back to his place when he lived in Gurnee to so I didn't have to sleep in the car. So he was very
he's a good dude.
Oh, he's been a good dude, man.
Yeah, so. I was gonna say, and Jim, what are you doing? He should have been working in the toy department, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, that would have made more sense.
Yeah, well, that was back when his he was really into music, and has he given you a Twisted America CD yet?
You know what? No, he didn't. He didn't. I'm gonna.
That's old school. Dude.
I'm gonna text him right after this and be like, "Where's my?" Okay, so I need that.
I think it's Twisted America is what it is. It's old school. Yeah, it's a bunch of different bands that he recorded out in the Quad Cities out there when he was doing that, and it's one of him. Yeah.
Very cool. I'm gonna hit him up for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so usually right now we do a thing just to get to know you just a little bit better, Brian. We do a thing we call the Grayslake Hot Seat. So we have some rapid fire questions just to get to know you a little bit better. You game?
Yeah, that's right.
Good. The Grayslake Hot Seat is brought to you by Joe Velez at JPV Financial. It's often said that those who fail to plan are planning to fail. Joe Velez and his team at JPV Financial create unique financial plans that address some of the most difficult challenges that people might face as they get older. No matter what stage of life you're in, having a proactive financial plan can help navigate some of the difficult decisions you'll face, helping you live your life by design.
not default. Securities and investment advisory service offered through Osaic Wealth Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Now for the Grayslake hot seat. Hey, thanks, Joe. When you first meet someone, how does somebody impress you? I know that's a tough one.
Yeah, if they like my food.
If you like your food. Well, that's good.
I think obviously it's, I'm 45, so I'm not old, but I think as you get older, you don't really have expectations. You just meet someone and either you hit it off or you don't. And I think at, this point in our life.
Know who you like and who you don't.
Yeah,
right?
At this point in your life, I can get along with everybody.
Right.
But
you know how many times I'm like, yeah, they're nice, but just doesn't seem like a dude I'd hang out with.
Yeah. There's absolutely a lot of that, and I'm sure there's a lot of people probably feel the same way about me.
Sure.
So.
Oh, they all love us, don't they?
Yeah.
Tell me something on your bucket list still. You'd love to do that you want to accomplish, or do, I should say.
I would love to. Probably travel to other countries and cook, and cook with different groups of people.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
In the world we live in now, it's probably not, it's going to be a rough thing, but
hopefully soon.
Yeah. But I think it would be cool to go down. I think it'd be cool to go down to, like southern Mexico and do like real barbacoa and dig up and cook on, and like see that like the primitive kind of, where it's just fire and it's, because that's what I love about barbecue is you're trying to control something that's uncontrollable, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of that, and I think, watching videos of these people still, we have all this stuff, all this technology, we have sous vide and all this, and there's still people cooking underground with like coals and dirt over top of it,
right.
And the food looks so much better than a lot of the food you see right now.
Amen.
So,
amen. If your life up until this point was a story, what would the title of that be right now?
Maybe the many wacky worlds of Wheez.
I'm interested. I want to know more.
Weez's world. Yeah.
Weez's world. I like that too. All right. So tell me some place you'd like to travel you've never been.
I would like to go to Ireland.
Ireland.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you've seen a lot of America.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Ireland would be the number one.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that'd be kind of cool to go over there.
Very cool. Tell me about the first car you ever had.
My grandpa gave me his 88 Buick LeSabre that had, I don't know what we call it, a suicide hood, but it opened.
That's a big car too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, what a cool car to have.
Yeah, that was the first car he gave me. So
nice. Yeah. Since you're a music guy, first concert.
Dude, you want to know something crazy? Just like cooking.
Yeah.
I was raised very. My family's very Baptist, very fundamentalist. Mm-hmm. So I was, I'm like, dude, if I go to a concert, like I'm gonna get killed. Something bad's gonna.
Right.
So in 2014, at the age of I think it was 33, 34.
2014 it took
2014. And I had been doing shows at little bars and things like that.
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine, Ezra, who played bass in the band I was in. Said, "Oh, we're going to go see Queens of the Stone Age at Cinco de Mayo at, I forgot the name of the venue in Chicago." And I said, "Oh, I'll go with." And he's like, "You're going to go to a concert?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'll go to a concert." So we went down and it was I was like, this is what I've been missing.
Right.
So from 14 to COVID, I think I went to like 250, 300 concerts. I flew to California to see, I'm like, next time Tool plays, we're going to see them. They played in Sacramento. Me and my buddy flew out there, rented a convertible, went to the Golden Gate Bridge, did a bunch. But I would go to 3 concerts in 3 nights. I didn't care where I was at. I'd go to concerts by myself. I would just be like, I'm going to go see these guys.
That's awesome.
I'm the guy that would buy concert tickets and then figure out how I'm going to get there.
Sure.
So it was Queens of the Stone Age in 2014. And I had been to some fairs and saw some country music, but that was the first,
Right. Okay. If you had to pick a top concert, what would it be?
Probably the best concert I've ever been to was I worked at Riot Fest for a few years. And my buddy shot photography there, and he did photography. He wanted to do Queens of the Stone Age, but Josh Homme won't let you shoot straight on. He wants you to be on the sides of the stage.
Right.
So we just posted up And for 4 or 5 hours, every time someone went off that main stage, we got closer and closer and closer. And we were probably 15 feet from front of stage. And when they opened up and 40,000 people were up and just jumping up and down.
That's pretty intense.
That was crazy. And then when Slayer played their Full Moonlight, I mean, it was like, that's not, you know, but I would say that, and I'm supposed to pick one, but
yeah, that's
Foo
great.
Fighters at Wrigley was awesome too.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Well, you've been around, that's for sure. And you're making up for lost time, which I think is awesome. If you had to have a theme party at your house, what would it be?
Definitely 60s like gangster, man.
Really?
I said if I could go back, I'd live in the 60s and early 70s, like Goodfellas stuff, dude. Love
Awesome.
it. Absolutely love it. That's what it was, you know.
Very good. What's your middle name?
Keith.
You ever broken a bone?
Yeah, lots.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Ocean or pool?
Pool, man. I don't care about the ocean.
You don't care about the ocean.
No.
You could do without it.
If I could cook in front of the ocean, cool. But sitting and looking, I'd rather just, you know, I'm a pool guy, dude.
Gotcha. When you eat tacos, do you tilt your head to the right or to the left?
Probably to the right.
To the right.
Yeah.
Hey bartender, can I have a? What's your favorite drink?
I mean,
what did you go to?
Probably something from Phase 3 or,
Okay.
I mean,
So you're a craft beer guy.
craft beer, something, Harbor Brewing, something like that, dude. Something where it's.
I see that you're at Harbor a lot.
Yeah.
Right. They've been a big supporter of you.
Yeah,
right?
they're awesome. They're incredible up there.
I love it. Your favorite sports team?
The Yankees.
Really?
Yeah.
I have a Aaron Judge autographed jersey I just won at our fundraiser.
Nice.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Yeah.
My bank account didn't like it, but other than that, go-to karaoke song. You have to sing a karaoke song. What are you doing?
Back when what was the country bar that used to be right over here?
At Sundance? No,
not Sundance. Right across the street here, and they tore it down and put in the steak place. I forgot what it was called.
The Last Chance.
Last Chance.
Oh my god.
My buddy Scott used to go there all the time and do karaoke.
Okay.
And I don't ever do karaoke. I have a terrible voice, but we would sing Garth Brooks songs.
Nice.
I forgot.
Okay, so you've been in Grayslake long enough that you sang karaoke at Last Chance.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up and graduated from Round Lake,
Okay.
but I had friends that went to Grayslake. So
Yeah. And now, well, that's funny because Last Chance is like one of those things. When you first said it, I went, because it's been gone long enough. Okay, so a couple Grayslake things. This is a Grayslake show. Favorite Grayslake event to attend? I'm sure you probably don't have a ton of time to attend things these days, but what's your favorite event in town?
I've been to the Craft Beer Fest a couple times.
Yeah,
so
it's good stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, and then we tried to go to the fireworks the one time, but my son does not like fireworks, and I don't care about fireworks. So when he said, I'm going to go home, I'm like, let's go, dude.
Wait, can we hang out here and get eaten by mosquitoes for a little longer?
Yeah.
Right, and in big crowds?
Yeah.
But they do a great job, so I'm not putting anything down about fireworks, but if there's
it's just the sounds that's just so, it's loud. So.
And the two that I get in trouble if I don't ask. So tell me about the second time you got arrested.
I've never been arrested.
Oh, darn it. And from a food guy, have you... trucking. So I'm going to guess that, have you ever eaten a roller dog from a gas station?
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. I knew you were one
I had
of
a
us.
roller dog today.
Did you?
O'Hare Oasis, dude, every day on the way I'm going north, I swing in there and grab something.
Okay, so who has the best roller dogs then?
I'm going to go with Love's.
Really?
Love's truck stops, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're cleaner, and they seem like it's a little more.
It's more
You start
legit.
you start getting into the TAs and the kind of, that's where.
Yeah.
And
late night roller dogs too. Be careful.
A lot of them lot lizards, man. You gotta stay away from them.
We could do a whole lot lizard episode. Okay, well, thank you for participating in that. I really appreciate it. A couple things that fascinate me too that I guess I never would have guessed, like coming here to talk to you today. I didn't expect to hear about sponsors. So, who's the first sponsor you get, and then how do the other ones come in? Are they come to you? Do you find them?
So the first barbecue sponsor I got was my buddy Paul Buab from Smoke and Ghost Barbecue, and so when I do catering, when you were at the event, I only use his sauce. Okay. So he's got a sweet, his spooky sweet, and he's got a haunted heat. That's all I use for catering. I just use exclusively his sauce. That's kind of my it's not even a deal with him. It's just the sauce is so good. I always tell people, like, if my food's crappy, maybe the sauce will have you come back.
Right.
He was the first guy I met when I was at barbecue, and then I think I had competed for a couple of years, and he sent me an email, invited me to the team, and I kind of called him like, dude, what is this? And he's like, I'm going to sponsor you. And I'm like,
it's awesome.
For what? And he's like, you've done more for my brand than, a lot of people, because like, I got a buddy that owns a barbecue shop out in Johnsburg called 301 Boys. And like, I think that's one of his top selling stores out of 200 stores that his sauce is in, because I pushed it like when I would go and do events there.
Right.
And that's
cool.
Messaged me. And then my buddy JDQ, Josh DeWitt from Kansas City. I did a lot of traveling, obviously, for trucking. And whenever I would like fly into it, like I'd flew in and like moved a bunch of trucks for our company. So when I got into barbecue, I'm like, I'll go down, but I get one day where I get a rental car and I go and, and I met my buddy Josh. I call it the interview. We spent 9 hours hanging out. I got to see a full tour of the oldest smokehouse in the Midwest in Kansas City. Barbecue. I mean, it was, and then kind of into the night, he's like, hey, dude, I'm going to sponsor you. And I'm like, what?
That's awesome.
So it kind of went from that. And then the other stuff, it just kind of took a few years, like Royal Oak Charcoal. And a lot of that is,
Is that from getting noticed like at a competition? Like come up to you?
That, and then, I always say I kind of like, I know, I got a lot of buddies that, are with Royal Oak. So I think I think a lot of the sponsorship stuff is you got to prove that you can, help promote and push your stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously it helps to have friends that will vouch for you. And that's what I mean when I know people, like people go like, hey, do this, he's a good dude. He can cook, he can do this, and putting your time in.
Right.
There's so many guys that are just, that'll come up to me, and be like, hey man, I want to get sponsored, but I don't want to cater. I don't want to do this. And I'm always nice. I'm like, well, dude, like, what do you have to offer then?
Yeah. Where's it going to come from?
Yeah. So, it's anything. If you went to, any business, it don't matter what you're in. And, if you're in dance and you want to get sponsored by somebody, it's got to be mutual beneficial for both sides, and for me, like, especially, owning a business, like I care a lot about, my brand, and I represent them or represent whatever, so for me, I think a lot of it too is, carrying their name, well, but yeah, I think a lot of that is, like you said, just, I don't think anybody sought me out.
Right.
But,
well, and it pays. And you know what? Anybody listen, like, we talk about, like, just being successful in business. You have to be a good freaking human.
Yeah.
And if you're kind to people, and good things come around. When you work your ass off and your nose to the grindstone, like, and do your stuff, people notice. And then they want to be a part of what you have going on.
Most people have no idea what to do with their aging loved one who needs help. Well, there is a solution. A company that provides care and assistance to make your loved one feel right at home. At Right at Home, their mission statement is to improve the quality of life for those they serve. They offer extensive services: personal and companion care, safety supervision and transportation, fall prevention, dressing and bathing assistance, medical reminders, meal prep, hospice support, ambulation support, stroke recovery, Parkinson's support. The list goes on and on and on. If you have an aging loved one that needs help, call Right at Home. Most people prefer to age in their home rather than moving to an assisted living or nursing home. Right at Home can make this happen. Contact Right at Home at rightathomenlc.com or give them a call, 847-984-0103. Now back to the show.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Okay, so a couple things we talked before we hit record, because I wanted to cover too. So where's your kitchen at?
So I cook out of the American Legion in Gurnee.
All right.
I've been there a little over 2 years now. So, I was looking for a kitchen. Someone, said, hey, why don't you check the Legion out? And for me, it's donating, I pay to use the kitchen, but it's, to me, it's, I'm giving money to an organization. That's a great organization. Then going to a restaurant and giving a restaurant another $100 to, whatever it is, right. Which is, and they're great people. We got some events we're working on, looking at putting a rib cook. We're going to be looking at putting a rib cook-off association on, like big rib cook-off. We're going to have barbecue, I'm hoping it happens. We've had some conversations, but we have we're looking at doing that. I'm doing something called Weez's Wicked Wing Fest, where like I'm just posting up, like I have a thing where I come out sometimes as Weez's Wicked Chicken. Right. I do different chicken, chicken wings and all this. So we got a couple of those coming up. We're hoping to put one on maybe at the Legion, and then use the money and donate obviously X amount back to help them. They're looking at refurnishing and doing different things in there. So anything we can do to kind of help do that. And then I just joined the Sons of the Legion, which I didn't know I could join until
I didn't know we just saw that. Yeah,
we had conversations, and they're like, yeah, you can do this. So now it's I think 2 weeks now. I joined 2 weeks. I went in 2 weeks ago and joined.
So that's great. And a good group of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and it's fun to see how things come together, right? Because when you're looking for a kitchen, you're looking for this, you're looking for that. It seems like by doing things right that you've attracted the right people to make your life just a little bit easier on these things too.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is in the future? Got any big goals or like something you really want to accomplish barbecue-wise? Because it sounds like you're busy.
Yeah.
And the summertime coming up, I'm sure it's probably a good season, huh?
Yeah, I'm pretty busy. I mean, I'm doing the Beer Fest this year. This will be the first year that I'm doing the Beer Fest here in Grayslake.
Awesome.
So we got that. We're at McHenry Music Fest. Like I said, we got a bunch of festivals. I'm doing a food truck festival. Obviously, competitions we're doing. Probably a big goal for me is I'm looking at hopefully here within the next year purchasing they call it Texas smoker, one of the big 500-gallon with a big Santa Maria on it, so you can hang pineapples and steaks and all that. So my goal is to make enough money this year that I can go and just buy that outright. Because that's the nice thing about my business is I don't owe any money. I have no overhead. I don't owe anything I do. It's paid with cash. Anything I need to buy, smoke, whatever it is, it's all paid. I don't, so for me, like, I don't, maybe at some point I might have to finance something, but at this point, if I know I need something, I figure out what it costs. I figure out how many events I need to do to get to where I need to get to. And then that's, cause that's about a $15,000 to $18,000 investment. But my thought is imagine rolling up and seeing that thing sitting out there rolling, white wall tires on it. I mean, it's, and that's where I'm looking at getting, doing more and more, private events, on-site cooking, I went to Indianapolis and cooked for I don't even want to call them, I say culinary group, but they travel over the world and, try these, they go everywhere and try food and they fly to Europe and they fly people in from India, chefs to cook for them and all this stuff.
Really?
And they got all these it's a worldwide, I can't even pronounce the name of what it is. Prairie do something. It's a food club.
Right.
They had us come down and cook for them in Indianapolis at this, old house down there. It was awesome. And we did, I'm thinking, man, dude, these are from the best chefs. I mean, they, when Michelin, when restaurants open in, France, these guys get private invites to them,
Really?
When Sean,
That's
we went down and, did like a 5 or 6 course meal. I did ribs. We served ribs right off the table. They came out. We did it all like barbecue style, paper plates and napkins. And they were like, no, we want it to feel like we're, I did my version of pimento cheese, and we did lamb. We smoked lamb. We did tri-tip, mac and cheese, jalapeno pineapple coleslaw. I did a bunch of this, and it was.
That sounds awesome.
So we went to cook. So doing that kind of stuff, I love when you get to, like I said, it's kind of a one-on-one, and you make people part of the process, right? Because that's what, like I said, to me, that's how I learned to cook, was being part of the process. So like I really want to, hopefully get into the point where I'm doing small parties and, cooking class. I do cooking classes. I got 2 coming up at CLC.
Really?
So I got a couple classes I'm doing there, and so
that's really cool.
But anyway, so that's kind of the goal, is smoker, and then to do more and more private events and stuff.
Any interest in ever having your own restaurant? No. Just keep shaking on it.
Yeah.
Good. No, and if it's good. Okay, so somebody listening right now is having a big summer party, they're having a wedding, they're whatever they're having, and they want you there. What is the best way to get a hold of you?
You can go to weezsgroovin.barbecue.com, and all my contact information's on there. And then if you go to Facebook, Weez's Groovin Barbecue.
So all your contact.
It's all the contact, the cell number, email, and stuff like that.
Cool. Well, with all these different festivals and stuff, like, it seems like you're kicking ass, and the more fun you have and the more people you get to meet, business just grows and grows and grows, right?
Yeah, it's kind of, it's, what do people say? It's organic, where it's just kind of, I should probably advertise more and do more stuff. But I don't want, people tell, you should go on Facebook and do this. You should bring all your, your trophies. You should, I'm like, dude, I just,
nah. Right.
I feel like I don't want to,
No, and you don't seem like that guy either.
I don't want to be pushy, man. I don't.
No, I think you have somebody come with, maybe get your little guy to start shooting your TikTok videos for you, and then see if maybe this cooking overseas or something, or just make some great videos and just see if one pops off, and then maybe you never know what happens, right?
Yep.
You never know. Anything else you want to mention to Grayslake? I know we have a ton of stuff to cover. I like to keep things at a certain time, but we've talked about a lot, but I know that there's a ton more.
No, I mean the biggest place I love here in Grayslake is Beer Bazaar. So if that's what you're asking about Grayslake, that's my favorite place.
I could see you hanging out there.
Yeah, I think and
I love Nat.
I think a week ago Saturday, Natter came over. I did Wagyu brisket, and I think we had like 10, 12 guys over.
Beautiful.
We're a little beer group, So whenever I say I'm cooking, usually that'll.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
That'll
get right over there.
That'll draw people. But what's funny is that I'll cook and I'll do all this, hot chicken. I do all this testing. We were testing smash burgers. And then at 11:30 at night, we'll spend $60 and have White Castle delivered because, it's
just one of those things.
Because we love White Castle.
Right, exactly.
New Year's Eve, dude, we pay like $100 to have White Castle. We order like 60 burgers, but it's just.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for your time, buddy.
Yeah,
I really
absolutely.
appreciate it. It was a pleasure to meet you, too.
Yeah,
and video, my pleasure. Video coming out tomorrow, me eating everything. And you got to, I don't know, is this going to come out before I eat the. Well, we'll see. We'll see what you guys think of that. Okay, Grayslake, hey, thank you so much for listening. We have such a great group of people that are out there all the time. But do me a favor, no matter where you're listening, whether you're on Spotify, whether you're on Apple, whether you're Google, whatever, or YouTube, hit the subscribe button, because that way every Tuesday you get to meet somebody new from our community. I think we're at like 160 something. It's crazy. And a lot of people think that we're running out, but we're just getting warmed up, kids. But as I always end, hey, as you're walking down the street today, we never know what our friends or family or anybody's going through. People generally are having a really tough time, especially with everything going on in our world. So be kind, be nice, get out there, do 1-2 different random acts of kindness, whether it's smiling to somebody, text a friend that might be lonely, be nice to people at the dollar store. So just be a good human. Kindness spreads like wildfire. So Grayslake, thank you so much. Wheez, thank you, buddy.
Thank you, man.
And we will see you next Tuesday, everybody.